we did oversell this series, and if DK don't very, very rapidly get their gameplay together.
One thing we haven't had is a reverse sweep. We've had a lot of 5 games.
Yeah, we've also had the 2-0.
We haven't had the reverse sweeps, though, have we?
Yeah, they're rare for a reason. I feel like this, to me, so far is feeling more like just a straight-up 3-0.
Do you know what the one main prerequisite for a reverse sweep is, though? To be down 0-2. And do you know what DK are right now? They are down 0-2. So I don't know whether I had to really spell it out for you, but I'm sure this is how it happened.
There is a lot against them, though, right? They've looked rough in this series so far. We did predicted for them.
Oh, yeah.
Jonah Strong predicted against them, you know.
God.
A lot of odds to fight against for them. And, you know, draft opens up. They have left the Nidalee open this time.
I can't help but
notice. And the Poppy now. So I assume a Poppy... But it's Gen.G who now banned the Nidalee, so I assume you pick up the Poppy first pick?
Unless you want a Lilia. That's what Lucid is considering right now.
And he has been incredible at it. The Lilia is something that should also work well with the champion pool of Shio and Showmaker. Now, Poppy still insanely high power. I think we can also look towards the Ashe. Now that we've gotten a little bit deeper into the series, I feel like she will rise up in priority and would make a lot of sense. It's also Ruler.
Yeah.
Piloting it, so it makes a ton of sense in that regard.
I think it also works well if you end up with a Poppy in the support role, because she's not got as clear, easy engage as like a Nautilus or Leona. You don't just have press a button, we go in. And having an AD carry who can do that for you has a ton of value. So Ashe, Poppy looking like a very good rotation here. I'm interested to see what Showmaker ends up playing with the Lilia. Not had the most impactful series so far. We've seen him pair well with the likes of things like Pantheon, but we get the MF Nautilus, so...
The classic Lilia MF, we don't wake you up when we do the bullet times.
You know what? We've seen this combo a decent amount in the LCK Cup, and I can't remember a single time we've seen them do that.
Do it. I do think that after we saw Viper pilot that one MF game that should have been unplayable, you know, maybe aiming sold out, it's like,
maybe this champion's good.
I don't think she is, but we'll see. I'm with you though. Like, if we don't actually see the combo come through even once, I'm going to be very mad.
I will say, Zyra into MF Lilia doesn't feel great, but I think this could possibly be the worst experience for a Nautilus ever into Poppy, Zyra, Ashe.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to play the game? If you queue in, you get interrupted, there's plants to get in the way, you're never running. You're always walking, and not even fast. You're like stumbling around from all the slows. It's painful.
Which is why they're flexing the Nautilus.
Do you know what I want? I want the Rocks Tigers bottom lane. That's what I want. I want the Ashe Zyra, and I want Canyon to be playing the Poppy, because honestly, Duro didn't really inspire me that much when he was playing the Poppy.
Isn't the MF specifically a counter into... That's why it was picked in the first place, right? Like, that's the whole... That was like the big thing, because you can queue for the plants.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so
I think that's the reason why.
Less good, but still, it would be fun.
I didn't want to kill your dreams, Atlas.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's all right. My dreams, it was pretty.
It was a 5-gamer.
Yeah, they weren't super looking good at this point in the day.
Yeah, Showmaker Dreams dying a bit with the Pantheon being banned.
LeBlanc as well.
Yeah, we did see the set, I believe, paired with the Lilia as well was something he played.
Chovy's also played that one, so they could pick it away from him if they'd like to rub salt in the wound. And both of these teams are looking for AD mid laners as well. So that is sort of hitting a premium right now, as the Smolder is a big one that Chovy has certainly had a field day on in the past. Let's see what he does decide to pick up here, or whether we're going to get the Keen pickup, as that's an Ahri. Not exactly the most inspiring mid-jungle as the Zyra Ahri, but see what they do decide to go with.
Yeah, maybe concerned if there is something like this set coming out that you want something with a bit of mobility to avoid that. It's definitely, I mean, it was already hard to get on top of Gen.G's backline. It is definitely hard now. And to be honest, I think about the set, playing set to Zyra also seems painfully unfun, so...
Tryndamere, though.
Still
into Poppy sounds awful, yeah.
Anything melee,
really. I kind of like this. I'm also okay with that. The downside, obviously, of this is that you are looking at a scenario where your 2v2 is a lot worse because you're going for double AP. Also, just looking at it, right, like it's again, so much of what has made DPLUS feel great, has been Showmaker having that impact, I think on the rise early on the target to do. His ults have been amazing though, as this is a blind pick here for Shiu, and it's just going to be his combo pick, and I think they also knew that this was coming. If this ends up coming through, like that was very clearly telegraphed, and that's probably what Keen is going to pilot.
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes you end up with these compositions with a lot of bulky front line that Lilia can kind of just run circles around, and they can't really do enough damage to her. But I mean, this is a squishy comp from Gen.G, but also they have a lot of damage.
There's a lot of circles as well.
Yeah, so I feel like it's one of those games where you can just get exploded. You know, even though the Rise and the Lilia feel quite bulky in a lot of games, I don't think
stays that way as we dive onto the Rift for Game 3. Gen.G fans in full voice today. And I just want to go back to Disguised Toast just for a second, because his name was like a pun on the Hearthstone character.
It's the Fire's ringleader, yeah.
Yeah. This guy's Toast. But it's like, do people just not even get that that's the reference anymore?
No, of course not.
It's kind of crazy.
And guess what? That card's coming back.
Wait, Orcs is looking at us oblivious.
He had no idea.
Did you have any idea?
I'm not a Hearthstone guy.
No, it's
a bit of a boo.
It's buffed. It's coming back on the next rotation.
Oh, is it really?
It really is.
Oh, yeah, you still play the real game, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Since the beginning. Every now and then we take a break. You know the 5 stages of grief?
Yes.
The only one you need to know is denial, because that's where I am right now. I was feeling
You're just going to get stuck there?
Yes, that's where I'm stuck right now. I was feeling a 5-game banger. I was really hoping that we were going to have the classic, the back and forth, the crazy moments, everything that Gen.G and DK series has given us for so many of the past years. And right now, I'm not feeling too good.
You know, I think that I've been in that denial stage since 2021. And I've never left. I think I've just always thought that DK have had it in him.
The way you talk about Beryl, that does actually make a ton of sense.
And I mean, in Beryl's defense.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, not a jungler!
Lucid's getting Duro'd. Oh, dear. Well, watch out. He is looking for a turnaround. Yeah, he does manage to hit that level 2, as Duro was thinking, wait, I can't let him get away with it. So he's just going to wander back in yet again.
Yeah, and you know what the thing with Zyra is, as we all know, is that her clear speed is a little crazy. He is going to clear 3 camps while Lucid has cleared 1.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. The barrels are also going to connect onto Showmaker here. Shiu's down to 200 health as well. Barrels making his way forward, though. There's the flash! Nailing the stun from the passives. Can they take down Chovy? That's the question. The answer is going to be absolutely yes, as Shiu on the board extremely early.
I think Beryl also tried to hook Keen there based on his position, right? Yeah. Like he went for the auto and tried to walk past. As Canyon.
Oh, he misses it completely, but nails the Q. So
yeah,
he's going to do a lot of damage.
You know, I think the move from Beryl made great, but Zyra has been doing this thing where she kills her jungle camps and gets level 3.
Wasn't it Canyon?
Yeah, that invade was not. Like, the play mid was great. That invade against Zyra, you can't. Like, there's no world in which.
The thing is, I don't get it, because either she cleared towards top side, those camps are gone, or she cleared towards bot side, she's level 3, and you're a level 2 Lilia and a level 1 Nautilus with no sums.
That invade made no sense.
Wasn't it? But also, wasn't it Canyon that debuted the Zyra when she sort of came back into vogue once again against DK, and also did the mega speed clear?
Oh, and there's no smite for Lucid. This is gone.
Yep, Kane has his.
Yep. So he just walks in and steals it away. And he doesn't... Okay, he does actually smite away. As Showmaker's going to have to flash, but the Rune Prison is down.
Barrel's on his way.
To land a lot of damage here. As Canyon still with the flash, does use it here. As
he's going in.
Lucid immediately getting out of there as Duro, the flash heroic charge. And he is out. Not scot-free, though, as that is 2 flashes now on cooldown.
At least it's signs of life, though. I don't know if DK need to go quite this hard.
No. They do.
Okay.
They definitely do.
Right? No pullbacks, no breaks.
You can't ease back into this series and slowly ramp it up. It's pedal to the metal. Look at Beryl. This is how you have to play the game every single time.
He is so pedal to the metal. He's chosen a skin that's entirely made out of metal.
Now, levels are just a state of mind, okay?
Well, he's got all... he also has a passive that works like a button, so it's like he's got 3 levels. As Keen, he's bearing the brunt of it as the barrels are doing a little bit of work here. He still has has flash and still has oranges, so he was never going to die. Still, the message has been sent.
Did we catch why Ruler flashed?
No.
That also happened. Maybe she will force it out of him, because I think they've been laning. While all of this has been happening, they've been laning against one another. Also, Duro also acknowledging that levels are a state of mind.
It could also just be solidarity with the support. You know, sometimes you have to think that maybe Ruler just said, "My support flashed, I will flash too."
Oh, that is beautiful camaraderie.
It is.
That's some real thanks, Alistair energy. You know,
iconic Ruler moment. in case you're not sure,
this is where the flash happened.
Yeah, it was in fact Shiu just getting on top of Ruler as Maganar. So good call there by Ruler.
So it wasn't solidarity.
No,
that's worrying to Gen.G.
Or it was just opportunely timed at the same point where he
has
needed
to make
the flash
it look
to save his
legitimate.
life.
I want to do a small history lesson. People might not know that. Hey, good job, Alistair bit.
Yeah,
so this was during a time when we had a lot of substitutions, and Lospa came in from the Gen.G Challengers team, played a great Alistair game, and then in the comms, Ruler was like, "Great job, Alistair," as opposed to...
That was when the Nexus was dying as well.
As opposed to saying the name of his teammate, or even, you know, their tag.
Yeah.
It's just, good job, Alistair.
It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. As Ruler takes a fair bit of damage from that double up here. As Duro's the one that's copping the brunt of it. In goes Lucid. I think Duro is definitely dead, and there he goes. 2-0 up now for DK, and despite the fact that Gen.G found some decent angles in the early game in the jungle was kind of good, this is not quite working. It's Chovy with an absolutely gorgeous charm to turn it around. I was mid-sentence, Gen.G. Let me praise DK.
Lucid's 2 levels down. Like, we are not getting the rest of these grubs, and it's the use of the lack of flash. Showmaker flashed earlier in that bot side skirmish. Chovy punishes him hard.
Well, there is a make it rain in a bullet time as aiming is flashing on top of Ruler, and he finds the extra autos, but he trades it 1-for-1. Keen throws the ultimate into the abyss, just as a sign of solidarity himself, I guess. But Gen.G, 2 kills to come back, but that is feats of strength over to DK, I guess, in the kill department.
You know, I was the person who said levels were a state of mind, but they are looking pretty important right now in this jungle matchup. This is a good play, though. Even though the W comes out from Duro, it doesn't really stop Barrel connecting. And here, just no flash on Showmaker allows that charm flash to come from Chovy, beautifully set up. And then Canyon just chases Lucid away, because really, there's just nothing you can do.
And goes and gets level 6 from that gank in the mid lane as well, so it all just kind of piles in on top of itself as aiming.
This is that awkward moment where after your passive is gone on MF, you're just not doing that much damage.
I think it's not just because of the feats, but, you know, he denied a wave. I think the really big thing is that he flashed, and Ruler's flash is going to be up soon. And I don't think this is the easiest game to play as MF, because there is a lot of backline dive, there is a Poppy on the enemy team as well. But at least you are getting some help in the gold department.
There's the arrow. It's going to sail towards the bottom
Would
side.
have definitely been Showmaker dead. Canyon was also in the general vicinity there.
And we've been talking a lot about the jungle matchup and, you know, Chovy managing to pick up that kill and then Ruler Duro, but it's Keen's Gangplank. Now, we talk about Keen Sante, things like this. He's been making Gangplank look broken since he was the only player on Afrika. Like, this guy has been so good at the Pirate, and he still scales exceptionally well. He's going to be a big problem moving into the later stages of the game, is what I'm kind of thinking. And as you can see, the XP, Canyon is first place, but the rest of the top 3 are also Gen.G.
I love that we got the graphic earlier showing the CS and like highlighting the difference in the junglers, and now we're getting the graphic showing the XP, just to really hammer home how cooked the jungle matchup is right now.
Zyra will always outpace because her early speed is so much better. Like, Lilia eventually, I think, catches up because her movement speed is so crazy. So once you get an item, you're actually able to cycle for your camps very quickly.
And as well, right?
Yeah, well, of course. But just even saying that it's relatively even, but the early clear, you're never going to be able to match. But then add to that the fact that Duro very heavily invaded, which he did a great job of. Then secondly, the fact that Lucid has been playing very heavily for impact on the map. And it just means that he is not going to catch up in the gold department anytime soon.
The problem is as well, he got the smite upgrade a lot earlier than Lucid did, so he just walked into his jungle and smited the Raptors before he even got into range of Lucid's smite. And right now, it's still 8 stacks ahead of him.
But 35 CS, just that's a large amount of camps. Also able to take this dragon, as we can see here. And the Hextech Drake going over to Gen.G. As you can see, Ruler and Duro now moving towards the bottom side. No real plate damage being done outside of mid lane and the bottom lane plate that DK were able to pick up for themselves. But man, it's feeling so similar to the first 2 games in this series, and we need a reverse sweep, right? Like
No, this is
we need 5 games at least.
We're building suspense.
Okay, well,
it's going to keep on building.
Someone needs to let DK know that there is no game after this if they lose. They cannot keep building.
Barrel's looking. Don't think he's going to get anything. And yeah, the early game was very explosive, but as soon as we settle into just normal laning, Gen.G takes over again. So I actually think the chaos was appropriate, and we need to see more of it.
Yeah, any sort of downtime in the action, I feel like, is just favoring Gen.G. And this isn't even like this is just how Gen.G is. You know, the slower game where they end up just gradually pulling ahead.
Yeah,
feels really painful when you're on the opposite side of it.
There are a lot of scaling elements, I guess, on both sides. You know, Ryze will be doing more and more, although he will be doing a bit of dying here as Stranglethorns goes down. He does flash away, but it's not going to be enough, and he's going the wrong direction as everyone gets sleepy. Canyon going to be going down as Chovy has to get himself out of their bowling ball. Going to miss, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Definitely a good trade there for DK.
You know what's the sad thing is we nearly saw the combo. This sleep with the bullet time.
Yeah, right.
They fell asleep just outside of it, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. The trade comes through. Showmaker without his flash, though, could be in a vulnerable spot, but Lucid, I think, very much appreciating some alone time without Canyon breathing down his neck.
Yep, being able to grab these grubs as well, and the fact that they were able to get that first one in the first round means that if he's able to secure all of them, then it is going to be some Void Mites to come on out as he's taking a lot of damage, but this is just the thing that happens, and he's got some honey fruit.
Yeah, you know,
got a skew as well.
If you weren't aware that he was a little bit behind, you know, if the several graphics and us talking about it didn't make it clear, I think this does really.
It's been a while since I've been worried about a jungler taking grubs by themselves.
Yeah.
As this flash from Showmaker, man, this is exactly the energy we were talking about. Flashes in, basically guaranteeing his death. As you point out, I think that aiming not quite getting the combo there, but as long as they get the kill there as they do, it also means that now the lead for Lucid is a lot less bad as in we go.
Yeah, Realm Warp to bring Showmaker towards his top lane as Keen is pretty tanky, to be honest. He is getting taken down lower and lower, and there is the combo from Showmaker to lock that one down. Chovy turns up, misses the charm though. Canyon with a lot of damage as Showmaker the first one to go down. Chovy almost surviving. Manages to utilize the Q, but it's not quite enough, and Beryl limps his way out another 1-for-1. 1-for-2. I tell a lie, as Keen had fallen down earlier. Maybe it's a 2-for-2, as now Duro going to move in, pushes Xiu back, doesn't manage to get the full hop, and I think is going to pay the price. Ruler locks that one down with the Q doing that extra damage.
Yeah, so hard to play against the Poppy there as the Gnar.
Yeah.
You can't hop onto her and get the bounce as she'll just block you. But ultimately, Chovy going in for that play without ultimate kind of just fell flat in this scenario. So the dive was very slow, which gave time for Gen.G to move and react. But you can tell they're just trying to avoid taking too much damage. I think Beryl thought he had aggro there, so he queued away. But in the end, he wasn't the one with the aggro initially. Chovy turns up, but as I said, no ultimate, doesn't end up hitting the charm, and it's mostly Canyon who makes this close, but doesn't quite have the damage to kill Beryl, and the last plant hits aiming instead.
Beryl going in to order that plant as well is very unnecessary.
Beryl was actually playing PvE the whole time, because he was killing barrels in the first part of the play, and then plants immediately afterwards.
Yep. And there, as you point out, there was just, I think, not really a way for Xiu to live there, unfortunately, unless he clocks the play earlier.
It's one of those...
He really should have, because if there's no response from Poppy on the top side play, you should know they're on the bottom half of the map.
It's one of those horrible situations, though, where it's just a Poppy and an Ashe, so you think, I can probably make my way out of this, but in reality, I think the correct call was just to save the flash, because there's so little you can do there.
Oh, Showmaker taking a lot of damage. There's the charm connecting, but Chovy's getting sleepy and isn't actually going to be put to sleep, so it's fine. Keep his verdict, just to zone everyone away from this turret. And when you've got set plays like this available to you by like just pressing R on Poppy when you're near a turret you want to kill, It does feel like Gen.G are going to be feeling comfortable moving throughout the rest of the game as well, because it's such a good siege tactic as the game goes later.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big reason why Poppy's prioritized so heavily. The fact that you can just channel it, just release it, like not actually use the ultimate, and it's back within 15 seconds. You're not even committing resources, that's the thing, to the play. You just have that free advantage, essentially.
All right, Keen not going to find too much joy with that barrel chain, but you can see double the amount of plate gold going over to Gen.G. 5-6 is the kill score. DK have at least been able to find some picks in this early stage of the game. And we don't have feats of strength locked down just yet. First turret going over to Gen.G and the kills going over to DK. And so now we're looking for the objectives. Who's going to be able to get the next 2 for their team? Try and upgrade those shoes. As Gen.G looking like they have a bit of extra control of the map. They have already started off this dragon, so that is going to put the extra notch into their objective count.
Can I go down here? We do have the Herald spawning in about a minute. Do you think that DK are going to try and play towards that? And this does feel like a bit more playable for DK, because I do think that this composition should excel when it comes to the team fighting. Poppy, to me, is the biggest issue outside of the great disengage that they're for Gen.G. But specifically, I think Lucid in team fights has been a really solid Lilia, keeping the sleep for the right opportunity. But they got to really out-execute, because again, they're going to be like 1.5k gold down going into these fights.
One of my concerns is it's difficult to approach, right? Lucid's behind, he can get blown up easily. Beryl, it's horrible playing Nautilus into this comp, and the thing is, you kind of have to be the one to approach, because if you just have a standoff, then Gen.G can fish with things like the RA Charm or the Arrow, but also Duro can just channel his ult. And that can be enough where a fight doesn't even need to happen for Gen.G to secure objectives.
The follow-up is so obscene as well. If you do manage to land that arrow, then you have Grasping Roots, Charm, and then Cannon Barrage and everything else. Like, even if you then try and counter-engage, because they've used a lot of single-target CC, the amount of AoE that then just rains down on top is kind of insane. So Hook, max range just needs one extra link. Barrel as Grasping Root's going to connect, but not too much more, and didn't have plans to back it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Hook connecting would have been a good thing.
It would not have.
No. With the Zyra and the Ashe over the wall, but I think Beryl was just trying to see if he could.
They have set a position now. I do think that the one weakness that Gen.G have is retaking control of an area can be quite hard unless you can set up a lot of poke damage, which we do see Keen, Canyon, Ruler all moving forward.
Yep, Keen walks over a ward, DK getting that information, and they will immediately back away. Yeah, like you were saying, not going to be a great time for Shiu to teleport in. They do want to contest this Rift Herald. They bought a bit of time. I guess there is that, as aiming's going to move on over as well. Let's see whether they can land this sleep combo as Make It Rain comes down. Arrow going to be flashed there by Beryl very nicely. The bowling ball just barely making it all the way through as the bullet time is going to be channeled into Keen, and he just doesn't care. Showmaker now dives into the thick of things, and Canyon's going to immediately make him regret it. And Gen.G can do no wrong in this fight, as already the Rise is on the floor. Beryl's looking for this longer chain once again, as Depth Charge is going to connect onto Chovy. Everyone's getting sleepy, but it doesn't seem to matter as the flash over from Ruler. It's vintage kiting here from the Ashe, as he does go down immediately afterwards, as the barrel not going to connect, but aiming is out of the fight, and Gen.G, they find a convincing one.
Just feels so hard for DPLUS to approach these situations. They're trying to find angles in, but Gen.G just throwing so much damage back in return. Showmaker in this Rise just in these fights feeling like a liability on a mobile pick that can be targeted so easily, and as you said, whenever any CC hits, more follows.
And Beryl tries to look for the player but gets knocked away immediately. I think aiming needs to be slower with these ultimates. Not in a position there where you can actually pull it off, especially because the other part of his players were playing towards the top side of the river, trying to look for something there, unable to find, and then this TP to come through and attempt to turn. And if Lucid actually hits Ruler, like at least you get the cleanse, doesn't quite find the sleep on him, ends up going down immediately, and Shiu arrives, is mega, but it's too little and too late.
Yeah, has to immediately back away. I got a little bit overexcited with the whole Ruler situation. He did do a flash forward, and that sort of triggered something in my brain, but then did immediately fall down afterwards. Definitely the right energy that we're looking for on this guy, though, as they move further into this game.
Now we have a situation where Gen.G, they have the feats of strength locked in, 2,000 gold up, they have those 2 dragons in pocket. Dragon coming up in about a minute. But on the opposite side from
there are things on the ground, and the arrow is going to connect there as Lucid. Not going to die just yet, and he is actually going to be able to walk his way out. Duro dies. I have no idea how that eventuated the way that it did, but nicely done there by DK.
I want to highlight. Yeah,
I guess
it's fine. Lucid definitely feels like he should have died. Walking back into the volley was also optimistic. Aiming has his IE. You know, throughout all that chaos in the last game.
And he's 5-1-3.
Yeah, he has been picking up a lot of kills. And, Shiu does have flash, might have to use it here.
Yeah, he's going to get slowed down. The Stranglethorn's going to come down first just to get the mobility out, and then the Grasping Roots are a sitter. Nicely played there by Gen.G.
And actually, it's a Zyra as well, so... I mean, it's not an issue now, but when Anakin's up, you have to be really cautious about how quickly she can shred through this objective that we've seen so many teams struggle with.
It's double Leandri's, so they really will take down the health bar pretty quickly. So, and have a look at this fight once again.
Sun comes in, second Sun. I think the big thing is Canyon just not being in range, as if he was, it would have just been immediate death for Lucid. Playing with fire a bit there, and you can see she was trying to hold his dash so he can hop off the minions, but he just doesn't quite hit that fierce minion. If he'd bounced off it then flashed, I think he might have been able to get away, but once again we see she was targeted in the side lane. Stranger's flash still goes down, unfortunately.
And this is something that I think we've seen with Shiu in particular, which makes sense given that this is his first really high-profile tournament, well, unless you count Casper Cup, which
I do.
I probably, really should. As hold that thought as we have a fight for Soul Point here.
Yeah, Gen.G in good position to do so as they do teleport in.
Poke is big here, though.
Charm connects onto Beryl. Doesn't take a whole lot of health. Still needs as much health bar as he possibly can get. Lucid doing his very best just to fish with these bowling balls, find some angles, and the Lilia is getting scarier and scarier. We saw that Gen.G are struggling to engage onto him and then find any joy, because Aiming's very happy to pull the trigger at a moment's notice.
Lucid trying to stack his passive.
This barrel is so frightening. A hook gonna go wide yet again. Beryl taking so much damage from the barrel, it's confusing to say, and the arrow's going to connect as well. He burns down, and Gen.G don't even need to commit to the fight, and Beryl's just dead.
It's just so difficult to approach against his composition, and Gen.G Chovy.
Chovy does watch out, and he doesn't even say eat. He's absolutely fine. Heroic charge onto Shiu, who's now out of position. Stranglethorns to knock him up over and over again as the Rip Carol flies in. Ruler with a volley to finish off the kill, and now that flank comes through. Lucid hit by that charm as these barrels are coming down, and the non-committal CC is just nutty from Gen.G here as Chovy dashes on forward, looks for Showmaker now, who's taking so much. Another max range charm, and Chovy is going to add that injury to the insult, and Ruler's going to take another one. I mean, the Dragon went down as an afterthought, and Gen.G just decimate the fight.
They just look completely in control. It feels like constantly DPLUS are fishing for opportunities, but they're grasping at straws, and Gen.G feel casual in the way they're decimating them.
A barrel arrow takes down Beryl, doesn't really get to play the game there.
What?
Barrel arrow.
Ah, barrel.
Yeah, no, barrel arrow.
Oh, got it. Yeah, arrow. Sorry, I forgot. This
barrel,
is the arrow and
arrow.
Got it.
I feel like Gen.G, we saw Chovy do this last game in the Aurora, controlling that banana brush and just making it impossible to approach. And then we have this play where it's just like steadily moving up, throwing pieces of CC and seeing what connects. And I think, once again, the Rise is just having such a difficult time here as it's a mobile pick. Like, Showmaker charges forwards to get to root and immediately pays for it.
And this is something that, again, and we need to keep repeating this because it just hasn't felt like we've seen this Gen.G, right? This control in team fights. This
Not
slow and
since
steady.
the matchup against HLE.
Yeah, in what was it, week one?
Week one, game one. It was like their very first match.
And Duro, whenever he's dying now, it feels like it serves a purpose, right? It feels like Ruler is connected. Canyon is not just by virtue of his play, but just by the virtue of the team play, which was so sorely missing, building a colossal lead over Lucid. And then, yeah, you know, Chovy Keen, no notes, you guys have been great. Keep it up. And now Otacon's taken, and it feels like that dream of even a game 4 we might have to forego.
The thing is, especially when you think of like the win cons and the team fight for DPLUS, which is honestly like a big CC combo with the, oh no.
Okay, yeah, Shu is in trouble. The arrow was to predict a flash that never actually eventuated, and then Duro just catches him. Steadfast presence was always there. That was the mind game that Shu was playing, and he's going to lose. Gen.G going to augment that with a dead turret, as this inner just kind of evaporated.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, the final win con for DPLUS is like a big CC combo.
Or just him being sent home.
I don't get to finish my points because I don't even know how to explain what's going on. Rula just, I mean, he has Atacant, so I guess
he needed to buy. He could afford the Bloodthirster, as you can see.
Fast recall.
It's not fast. It takes 15 seconds.
I mean, you also have to
tell
move
him.
into a
Why are you
safe
telling
place,
us?
and things like that. You know, maybe he felt like he needed to walk all the way back to the side of the map.
A safe place, like anywhere on the map, because they're 6k gold ahead.
You also donate 200 gold to the team. You can deduct that off your taxes. I'm pretty sure charitable donation.
It's
and
philanthropy.
DPLUS are definitely in need right now. So
is that where we've gotten in this series? We're just making quips because it's so over.
It is feeling a bit over.
You know, the point I was trying to make is that there's like double stasis on Canyon and Chovy. They each have like a Zhonya's or a Seekers. You have Mikhail's on Juro. You have Orange's on Keen. The dream of like a big sleep is dead.
You also
not going to happen.
Ruler has cleanse very soon.
Well, Arrow is going to miss here, but the Stranglethorns does not. And there's another circle of Venn diagram of death here from Gen.G, as Lucid and Beryl are just dead before they can really do anything.
I think the real thing we have to discuss and get to the bottom of is what powers does Jonah Strong have?
Well, this is okay. So I mentioned this off air. I am pretty sure that Jonah Strong is proof that time travel does indeed exist, and in fact, we're just living in Back to the Future 2. Because I think he's Biff. I actually think he's just Biff.
I think to predict that Gen.G could show up again and make a comeback and show better form, I don't think that is that crazy, right? A few people predicted Gen.G. But the 3-0 to come into today after seeing them against Dongshim and be like, it's a 3-0.
He is the OG. I think he just truly believes in Chovy more than any of us could possibly do. Because I feel like every time you ask him about it, he's like, yeah, Chovy's the best. So like, I just predict 3-0 for him, and then
I really...
But the thing is, the other time with the great prediction, it wasn't a 3-0. What specifically about what led up to this point made him think 3-0?
All right, Hail Mary!
Maybe it's the turnaround, as Ruler is going to flash. That puts him in pretty good position, because there's a teleport coming on forward. That's going to be Chovy joining a 3-man Gnar. But if it happens when nobody's watching, doesn't really happen, as now Chovy's fighting Showmaker. Showmaker finds himself outnumbered as well. Heroic charge is gorgeous as they take down Lucid. And Showmaker going golden in the nick of time. Chovy dashing away, and Gen.G, they leave Beryl up to go back and send a message to his people, as they are now looking to take down the final Nexus in this series.
She's knocking on the doors now. The Bays closed it out. Gen.G with such a dominant performance. Honestly, their best performance we've seen in the LCK Cup, and coming at the perfect time when they need it. Beryl alone to try.
This is called peaking when you absolutely need to, as Gen.G will take down Nexus's 1 and 2. Duro dodging that hook beautifully with the heroic charge. And man, a clean 3-0. Nothing to see here. And what I would have said